Chances by Freya North. Read by Helen Longworth. Sitting in her shop, that shop, on the stool behind the counter, Vita kept her nose buried in her book, yet managed surreptitiously to watch the elderly lady whilst wondering what she'd nicked today. A fortnight ago, it had been soaps in the shapes of seashells. Prior to that, an ashtray in the shape of a Moroccan slipper. Vita didn't think the old lady smoked. And why had she stolen that tin of mini sparklers with wedding wishes embossed on the lid? Sometimes, Vita could anticipate which object would be pilfered. At other times, she knew something had gone, but it took her a couple of days to figure out quite what. She liked the fact that what was taken was dictated not by its value, but by its desirability. Those sparklers had been cheap as chips, but the little tin was so pretty. The old lady was currently admiring the candy-coloured dustpan set. Vita thought, she'll never get that under her jacket. A couple of months ago, perhaps, when it was still cold and the woman was swamped by a shabby old coat. Today, she wore a light blouson, a shade darker than her lilac rinse. What would she be able to squirrel away when true summer came? It was only June, but the weathermen were predicting a heatwave. The shopkeepers of Winford hoped so. It was one of the animals. Vita detected a sudden lift in the old lady's energy from near the rack at the back of the shop on which the plastic animals stood. Which, though? Gazelle. Vita reckoned it had to be the gazelle. There were plenty left. The children always made a beeline for the carnivores. "Nothing to do, lassie," the woman said diplomatically, as if, on some future occasion, she might be happy to part with her money. "When I was at school," Vita mused, once the tinkle of the shop's bell had subsided and she had the place to herself again, "I stole for a little old lady just like you." Tim thought, if she's reading a bloody book, if she's reading a bloody book. His business philosophy was that his shop, that shop, needed to make money. Vita's personal philosophy was that her shop, that shop, should simply be somewhere people loved to go, to be heartened by lovely things. She is bloody reading a bloody book. "Hi." Tim jerks his head at her book and raises an eyebrow. "Robinson Crusoe," Vita says, as if it vindicates any objection. "Have you read it? Can't believe I hadn't." I'm gabbling. Still nervous around him. Madness. "It's a classic. Did you know Daniel Defoe is credited with inventing the novel?" "This isn't a desert island, Vita. It's a deserted shop." He approaches the till and prints off a balance. "Christ alive." "I know," Vita says gravely. "It's been slow." "I saw that mad old woman coming out," he says. "I think she's just, eccentric." "She's a thief, that's what she is," Tim says. "Watch her like a hawk." He had caught the woman shoplifting last Easter. A small rabbit. He'd made her put it back. He'd done it tactfully and authoritatively, as though he was talking to a child. Vita hadn't liked that at all. It was just a little Easter bunny. "She wouldn't be doing that again," he'd said to Vita. Vita muses how it wouldn't cross Tim's mind that the old lady had been doing precisely that ever since, with Vita's unspoken blessing. She glances at Tim, experiences a pang, wonders how that could be after everything. "Hey, Tim." It isn't a question, and, though she says it softly, she knows she shouldn't have said it at all. He just looks at her. There's nothing behind his eyes. It's the neutrality that hurts the most. When did he buy that shirt? It suits him. It suits his dark grey eyes, his close-cropped hair the colour of slate. "Be in touch," he says as he leaves. He doesn't look back. Tim is someone who never looks back. 6 years together, now heading towards a year since she left him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?